Okay, so by now you are completely obsessed with zines, right? If not completely obsessed yet, I'm going to introduce you or reintroduce you to something called reverse zines. Reverse zines are essentially making the art first and then putting it into a zine. It's a fancy way of being essentially lazy, I guess, or wondering how to not focus on if you're getting anything right, if you're doing the right layout, all of that. These are great because you kind of just have fun and you put things down that feel really good. And by the end of it, you just fold it up. The magical power of cropping applies and it becomes a zine. Once you've folded things up, they look completely different to what they look like as a sheet of paper. And they are my all-time favorite way to make a zine. Actually, they are one of my favorite things to make in general, just because of the funness and the fact that I get to use all my favorite things and just put it in. Don't worry if it goes together, because it will at the end. So you use a sheet of paper, or I like to use sheets of ledger paper just because the paper is so gorgeously thin but still very sturdy. Otherwise, you can use a sheet of white paper like I'm doing here. I'm putting down a bunch of my favorite papers at the moment, of course. Just things that are hanging around on my desk, things that want to be used. I'm using that sheet of white paper as a base for the size. It really, zines can be any size that you like. The point of reverse zine making is the fun, is the putting together. Get some kind of base and put things on top. I like to collage, but I also have liked doing abstract painting. Jelly prints work really well for this. Unfinished art, scraps that you have lying around. Really just any bits that make your heart happy and that you want to put together. Essentially, like all of my favorite things, remove perfection, leave it at the door, have fun, use your favorite supplies, and figure it out along the way. If you are going to be using collage like I've done, it's going to be difficult to fold it into the zine at the end. And the way that you can go around that is by either taking a photo of it or scanning it in at a high resolution and reprinting. I tried to get this one folding. I think that it kind of, because all of my folding happened kind of at the exact space where I needed to fold the zine, because it was such a small strip of card, it didn't work out as well as it could have. So if you are wanting to keep the original one, maybe using some contact paper to stick it all down, maybe using matte medium to properly stick. I don't like using that. I prefer to use Prit or a tape runner, so there's no chance that my stuff is going to stay stuck. Otherwise, yeah, just take a photo. Taking a photo is also fun because it means that you get to try it out a few times. Maybe you can send it to a friend and you can both use it. She can send you her one and you send your one, and you both work on each other's, and that's a great way of collaborating even if you're far apart. But yeah, I took a photo of this. I printed mine out on sticker paper just because it was the best paper that I had on hand. I don't have any other paper that prints as well as the sticker paper that I use, and so I used that, and I just kept the backing sheet. Previously, I've done that and put it over some really thin paper. You could do that too. But if you've got a decent printer, or you can take it to a print shop, then perfect. And once you've got that done, once you've got your base layer, you're going to fold it in the way that you do a regular zine, and magic, you've got a very nice base to work with. Making zines in this way, it's kind of like a junk journal in that you're not starting from zero. You've got a base to work from, and you really get to have fun, play, ignore perfection. This is just practical imperfection happening right here, and it is my favorite. Some other tips while you're doing a reverse zine is to not keep the same direction. Keep moving it around, because it's going to fold up and have different directions, and some of the paper is going to be upside down. Just keep moving it around. Make sure that there is no one way to do it. So if you want to add text is probably better to add once it's in zine format. Just keep moving. Keep abstract. You also want to make sure to add any neon elements after you've copied or photostated it. Neon is not going to show up on a digital scanner. That's why I took a photo of this one, because I had really gorgeous pink neon that I really didn't want to let go of. And so just photographing it, making sure it's as flat as possible. That kind of photo will also add in a lot of details that a scanner might take away. If you're making your zine for digital distribution, or for a digital zine for distribution, then you also want to leave out neon unless you are able to photograph it nicely. So I never really know what kind of zine I'm making until I've made it. I know that a lot of zine makers set out with a theme and a topic in mind. I kind of wait and see what I'm trying to say. Art tends to tell me what I'm trying to say. It articulates what's happening in my brain. And for this one, I'm going to use some found poetry. I saw something really cool that had a clever, really excellent woman. And I thought I just wanted to describe what is happening in my life at the moment. Collecting little things, collecting little photos, little pretty bits. Just really wanting to be left to fall asleep, to go back to sleep. That's kind of a summary of who I am right now. I love zines as a snapshot, and that's a big reason why I make them. I also love the fact that they are a cohesive mini journal, one that is finished within 60 minutes. This one took me just under an hour to make, all inclusive, including the printing and all of that. So it's really just a nice outpouring. And like I've been harping on, very anti-perfectionist, very fun, very easy, very just putting everything down. And one of the best things is that I get to literally cut up the leftovers on my craft table and put little bits, and because I'm starting from something, I've got something to work from. I like to add my name on the last page and the date. I'm not going to do any of my own lettering in here. I'm going to keep it to just the found poetry. And here's the zine.